everybody, welcome back. Week 12 of our wine, week 12 of our wine adventures. So what's the plan? For those of you who joined last week, we were having a fair bit of fun with what to do with the rating score. So for those of you, if you remember, we have reviewers, and the reviewers provided points for the wine. So what we were looking at last week was, did we need to change the data model? So we decided we needed to do that. The main reason behind that was we either had the situation where we had 120,000 relationships, and each one of those relationships had a score for the wine that a reviewer was connected to. And if we wanted to do any kind of query, such as show me all the wines that scored over 80, as an example, which is a terrible query, and we'll mention that in a second why, you would have to go through and look at every single relationship property to then filter all those out. Whereas if we did what we did, where we said, well, hang on a minute, theoretically, the maximum number of nodes we had, if we turn these scores into nodes, would be 101, i.e. from 0 to 100, then actually it makes more sense if we attach the wine to the score and then the score to the reviewer that gave that score. Then we significantly cut down, effectively we now have to look up node properties rather than relationship properties, which means we just gather everything together, got the same score. So if we've got, 10,000 wines that all scored 80, then it will be going into the 80 nodes, and then we just need to look at that node one. So that significantly is better for doing these sort of range queries. And then we went off and investigated. The reason why I said looking for all the wines that scored 80 or higher would be a terrible query, because as we discovered, much to my shock and horror, is that for a particular data set, the lowest score a wine got was 80. So basically we had wines, and none of the wines that we had that got reviewed had points less than, I can of course get wrong, points less than 80, which is insane. So yes, if we did a query to bring back all wines that scored 80 or higher, that would bring back all the wines. But that's a different thing aside. Anyway, so we did that last week, and then the next thing to do is to bring in some price data. So we don't have it for everything, but again, if we go back quickly and have a look at the data. Actually, I'm going to do it from here because we have a bit more fun like this. I'm going to pull it straight from the CSV. So I'm just going to copy this line. Let's bring up the browser. So if we bring this back and have a look at the score, so one moment whilst we remind ourselves what the name of that property was. So not all of them have prices, but you can see we've got price. So what we want to do now is bring in price. I am not entirely sure what currency price is. I'm going to assume it might be dollars. What we can do is we're going to bring in price where we've got price data for wine. And then let's start having a look. How does price relate to the points the wine's been given? So what I want to do, same approach that we did last week, is let's have a look at the price range that we're working with, because maybe it makes more sense to create a price node rather than attaching it to the wine. So again, let's have a quick look at the data model. So I'm just going to go down to the bottom because we've got a newer data model up there. So what have we put in for point for price? So what we've done here is we've got price as a property on the wine itself, and maybe it makes more sense for us to pull it out. So let's first of all have a look at what we're working with, and then we can make that decision. And again, if you've got any questions or anything like that you're curious about, just put them in the chat. I will pick them up as we go along. So any questions or queries, just give me a shout and we'll work through them together. For those of you who are watching recording, by all means, either send me a message on, if you've got a question, send it on Twitter, so that's @LLazal, bring it to the next session of Twitch, or you can just, pop it as an issue on the GitHub repository and I can pick it up from there. Okay, so we've got this, so we know the row is called price, so let's, to begin with, have a look at what we're working with. So let's do with row.price where It's price where price is not equal to nothing. I want to do a count of these actually. Yeah, let's do a count of these because I'm curious as to what the let's have a look at the price distribution whilst we're here. Why not? You know, we're going down this route. So as price, and let's do collect. I'm not really worried about what we collect here. Size, well, okay, let's do that, and we're going to do. Oh, I'm going to turn this to. I don't know if they're all integers yet or what's happening. So let's just return a sample. We can have a look at what's going on, and then we can figure out how we are going to sort this. So let's do return price size s order by price. Let's see what comes back. It'll take a little while because I'm pulling it from the GitHub repository, so it needs to download the data first and then it's going to go through. So we'll give that a couple of moments, and I'm intrigued to see what comes back. So let's give that a moment. Okay, so we've got 390. Oh my goodness, we've got 1,000. I'm going to assume it's dollars. $1,000 bottle of wine. I am dead excited to see what that scored. Let's have a look. So we have got. Wow. I think there's something interesting going on here because I can't believe, or maybe I can believe, I don't know. Let's sort this by size. I'm going to order by, because if we've got like thousands of bottles of wine that are $1,000, then we know there's something not quite right here. But I'm really intrigued to see what the really expensive wine scored. This is exciting. I mean, let's have a quick peek. Well, whilst that's running, let's go have a look at the original Kaggle dataset and see what they said. So I've got a link in here, surely. I'm a good citizen. Oh, where did I put this? Link to the original dataset. There, that's a promising link, isn't it? Just going to duplicate this so we can go back to the original page. So we have got title. Oh, we've got a description here. Does it? Oh, is this a new version of the file? Ooh, that's exciting. So we've got. Oops, don't want it to do that. I don't want to scroll. I want to know what the columns are. Oh, here we go. So I wonder whether we're getting, because we do have some dots on here, don't we? Huh. Do we ever, I'm wondering if we ever get something. So, I mean, it shouldn't, so the only thing that I'm thinking here is that shouldn't be a problem because we're treating it as a string. Although, to be honest with you, if we look at distribution here, I mean, this kind of looks sensible. This looks sensible. We're not hit any crazy number for three figures, so I suspect we're okay. 558 bottles of wine, $100. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. No, it's not too crazy. I think this is fine. And look, as we tail into the lower numbers, we are getting bigger values. Okay, it's not too bad. I'm very curious to see what the really expensive stuff got. So we've got quite an interesting range here, haven't we? And now we're really dropping down to low levels. So we've got 390 prices. So let's have a quick peek. Do we know where author's from? That might be able to... That might give us a hint. Oh, Colorado. Okay, I'm definitely saying that these are in dollars then. Okay. So remember the rationale we had previously, which was we're going to do point nodes coming off of our reviewers, because that would still, so number of viewers times the number of points would be significantly less than the number of relationships we need to check for properties. And I'm going to use a similar rationale with the wines and the prices. So whilst we're looking at properties on the wine, if we want to have a look at wines to, for example, wine rating to wine price, then again, we don't really want to look up 120,000 wines and then check the property. It's more efficient if, for example, we look here, we just create 390 nodes that have got the price of the wine, and then we connect the wine to that node. So that's what I think makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to update the data model again. And I think I'll update the diagram in the repo and write that, but I don't think we need to do it now. But effectively what we're going to be doing is, whereas now we've got wine, and immediately we've not loaded the price data, so we're going to do that now. But what we're going to do is, rather than put price onto the wine node, we're going to create a new node called price, and it'll be wine has price, and then we're going to put, it'll be like value is, and then price of the wine. So good so far. And then like that we can have a bit of fun comparing points to price. That should be good. Right, let's get cracking with that then. So again, I'm all for reusing code. So I am going to reuse what we did last week for loading, because I know most of it is going to be what we need. And then we will get cracking. So I'm just going to copy this, go into browser. So what we want to do is do a periodic commit for that. It kind of doesn't seem worthwhile. I'm only going to do it 12 times, but that's fine. So we've got this. So we've got row. So we are going to say with row.price as price. I should create the nodes as well. That's fine. Where price is not equal to that, then we are going to, we need the wine as well, and we use the ID. So remember, use the wine.id. So we that caught us out last time. So we do this one. I will use that. I think we already have it here. It already have it there. Brilliant. So and let's add it in. Price. Let's do row.id as ID. Nice. So we don't need this. We're going to match wine where ID is equivalent to ID. We are going to merge. So merge P price. Value is going to be, we're going to turn this to integer because they were all integers. So to integer price, and then we're going to create wine has price. Oh, I just get to reuse all of this. It's brilliant. So easy to make mistakes like this. So we've got all of this done. So the only thing we need to do now is I'm going to put an index on price value, because we're going to be effectively trying to do merge many times, because the price already exists and we want to merge and add it on. So what I'm going to do is just going to grab a copy of this, and it's price value, isn't it? So let's do create index on price value. So let's add that. Nice. Now let's import our price data. And I'm just going to take a note of what we've done whilst that runs. So again, if it takes longer than a few seconds, we probably Might need to investigate what's gone wrong. Oh, there we go. Look at that. All done. Lovely. So you can see here, so we've created 387 nodes. Although I'm intrigued as to where we've lost 3. So I suspect maybe we did have something with a decimal in it. Or maybe there was a space. I bet you there was a space. Not sure. We'll investigate that later. I can check into that and see what's gone wrong and do any updates if required. Oh, we've got a wine that was 2013. Haha, I like that. Okay, so we've done it, but you can see straight away. So we've got 110,000 wines, and there have been 110,000 nodes we need to look up to dig out the price information. But we're like this. We've only got 300. We'll investigate what happened to the last few nodes, but we've got 387 nodes there instead, so that makes more sense. So I don't know about you, but I now need to find out what were the expensive wines. I mean, like, let's look for all the stuff that's over $1,000 and above. Let's check out the expensive wine. So we're going to do that by doing match wine. And I want to know the title of that wine as well. What do I want to know? I would worry about the things later. So let's do wine. Has price. Price where p.value is greater than or equal to $1,000. Whoa. Return. I think it's value we had for wine, didn't we? I'll double check that actually. We've got date model up, haven't we? Title. It's wine.title. Wine.title. Wine.p.value, and I'm going to order it by the value. Oh man, let's check out. Oh, we want to get the rating as well. Hang on. Let's do a double whammy job here. So we've got p points. I think we called it, didn't we? I can't call it that. Let's do points. Points. Wine has points. Oh, I'm really excited to see this. Like, I'm expecting greatness now. Okay, so we got the. Let's make this a bit more sensible. As title, as price, and point dot value. I think we call this as points. Oh man, I am dead excited to see the. Oh my goodness, so we've got 14 wines that are $1,000 and above. Not all of them score 100. Look at this. Oh my goodness. 94. Now, bearing in mind that last week we were looking at the score range, and we had a score range of between 80 to 100, so no wine scored less than 80. I like, wow, it's got a score of 94 and it was $1,000. That's cool. Okay, so we've got a few that got top marks. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm just curious about something. I'm just going to quickly Google this, because is this actually $1,000 or is this like $15 and we've got some other interesting things going on? So let's just... Whoa! Okay! No, it is genuinely really expensive wine. Oh my goodness. I don't think I could drink anything that's expensive. It traumatised me. I'd feel really sad if I didn't like it. Wow, okay. So that's fun. So we've got some expensive wine that didn't do too well. So we've got some prices. So let's get some scores back for all the wines that scored 100. So we do something similar we did last week. So last week once we loaded that data in, we did the thing where we had a look at all of the wines that scored first 100, and then all the wines that I think scored at 96 and above or something like that. So let's do something similar, and like now we can bring the price data. So we don't have price data for everything. So let's have a quick look as to how many wines we've got that have got prices, and then we'll have a look at how many wines we've got prices and points. So let's start off with this. So let's do match p price, return count p. that we have got... okay, this is sad. Oh, that's very sad. No, I'm sorry. I made a fatal mistake there. That's the number of nodes we have, but what we want to do is we want to count wine coming off there. So I do apologise. I quickly remembered that we did this deliberately. So it's all good. Right. Wine. And let's return count W. That's the one we want. So how many wines with prices do we have? Oh. Okay, there's that. And how many wines do we have? Okay. Oh, brilliant. So most of the wines have got a price. So how many wines have got a price and a review? Have points. So we don't necessarily have the named reviewer, but I've actually been given a score. So let's do points. Let's see how many you've got that've got both a price and points. Oh, lovely. That is fantastic. Okay. Well, that's good news. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Okay, so let's start with finding all of the wines that scored 100 points and see what the price was. So what's the cheapest wine you can get that scored 100 points? So I'm going to reuse this query. So let's do points value is 100. And I am going to return the wine, so wine title, and the price. So let's give these sensible names as well. And let's order it by price. So let's see how much do we need to part with to get ourselves one of these high scoring wines. Ooh, $8. Okay, that's better than the highest one, which was $1,500. Wow. Okay, so one can pick up a top scoring wine for the price of $80. So that's interesting. That's cool. That's cool. So we've had a bit of fun with that, and we can see that some of these are, a lot of these. Oh, some Californian. That's going to be Italian because it's Montepulciano. Got obviously Champagne, going to be from France. Okay. So we got some stuff back. So that's fun. So let's bring a bit more into this. So let's bring in the variety as well. So let's see what grapes are in there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do... We're probably going to have a load of red blends again, aren't we? But that is how it is, and we know how to find the grape varieties if it's not in variety. And it's probably worth mentioning as well that I'm doing a notes talk next Tuesday. So for those of you who weren't aware, our fantastic developer series, our summit, is on next Tuesday. So the nodes are Neo4j, Online Developer Expo and Summit, where we have loads of amazing techie talks, are on next week. And I'm doing one as well, and it's really exciting because I'm going to be doing one on our wine journey. So I'm going to be looking at how we figured out the wine grape variety when we just had red blend. So if you want to relive that in all its glory, come join me next week. It's going to be fun. I thought I'd give that a quick plug. And for those of you who are going, online conference, I didn't know about it, the link is up at the top. So check it out, save your seats. Completely free, like all-day conference. It's going to be great fun. And Alex and I are doing a Nodes pre-Node stream as well, so that's going to be fun. So keep an eye on Twitter. We'll be telling you all about that soon. I digress. Let's have a look at variety. So you've got, I don't want country, I want variety. We might look at country later. We still have a load of data to import for country as well, don't we? So we'll have to come back to that in a second. But anyway, right. Let's bring back the variety. So we've got the title of the wine, we've got the price. I want to know what the variety is. So let's do v dot aim, I think we said, as variety. Value, right, let's bring back some information about these wines. Okay, so, Syrah, I do like a Syrah. So there you go, get myself, both of them are Syrahs, so I'm wondering, because these are both in the same place, so something we can have a little play with, and maybe we could do a geospatial special, where we figure out, maybe we pin these to the map and see how far apart they are. Because I bet these places are quite close to each other. So we can have a bit of fun with that as well. Oh look, no, it's our Bordeaux Star Red blend. Champagne blend. Okay, but I think there's specified things. So we've got some blends, so we can have a bit of fun later about finding out what are the varieties in there. But look, we've got a white. Got a white wine in there. $848. Oh. But yeah, I've got port as well. So this is quite exciting. I do like a Sangiovese. So there we go. So we've got some high scoring wine. So let's make this. Let's do so that we can have a look at the wines that scored over 96. Let's say 97 and above. So let me just do this, and I am just going to. I'm going to do it like this, where point dot value is greater than 96, and let's do with pw point. Then we can do the rest of that query. Oops, I didn't need to do that, did I? That's all good. Right. Let's have a look. Ooh, what have I done wrong here? Oh yeah, I've got to put match in. Fail. Right, look at this, and if we're, let me put the points back in as well, because it probably would be helpful to see what the points are even. So let's do point dot value as points. Right. So there we go. If you don't mind, you can. Oh, look at this. There you go. Get yourself a bargain there. $99. Oh, sorry. $44. My apologies. I inadvertently doubled the price of that. $44 gets you something that scored 99 out of 100. Get yourself a nice Chardonnay. Oh, lovely. So there you go. And we dropped our criteria, so we managed to sort of, I think we had $80 was for, it was our cheapest wine for 100 points. There you go. If 97 is fine, you got something for 35. And I think if we were ordering by price on, yeah. So there you go. So you get yourself a bargain there. So that's been fun. That went significantly quicker than I thought it was going to go. So I'm just trying to think, what can we have a play with now? So don't be shy. If you've got some suggestions you'd like me to have a look at, give them a shout. We can have a bit of a play. Otherwise, I will randomly pick things that we should look at. So have a go. What should we look at next? Just pop it in the chat. And I'm just going to take a copy of this so I can write it up and we know what we looked at. Because one thing we could look at, actually, is we could have a look at the cheapest, the average. I'm just trying to think, what would be meaningful here? Because we could do the average price of a grape variety. That might be fun. And we just probably, what we want to do is we want to get rid of the outlier expensive wine. Well, what other fun things can we do now we've got the price in? We can have a look at, oh, I know what I'm going to do actually. Let's have a look at the average price that our named reviewers look at wine-wise. That's probably a bit of fun. So we've got wine has points, and I'm going to extend this. I'm going to get rid of this because we're not so worried about the point score now. But what we do want to know, let's leave variety off for now as well. I can leave that. So what we can do here is, let's have a look. I'm going to get rid of points as well. I'm not so worried about that at the moment. What I want to do is have a look at the reviewers. So reviewers gave points. I'm going to do I would call them taster, so I don't confuse myself. Tea taster. And we want to only look at the tasters that got names. So you remember we've got one called no taster, so we're just going to get rid of that one. So where t.name is not equal to no taster. Okay, so we only want the tasters. So we've got 19 tasters if you recall. So let's return the... Oh, we've got some suggestions. Can you build a cluster with countries that wine were made and use the points price variable to understand which country makes a better one? Hi Cassim, by the way, yes. Let's have a look at this. So, oh, I see what you're saying there, Cassim. So what you're saying is, we want to have a look at the countries the wines have come in and then compare that to the score. So which countries had the high scoring wines? I like it there. I mean, I had a quick eyeball. I think France featured a lot, but we will do that. So let me take a quick note of that and we'll do that next. So we're first going to see what the average price was of the wines that the reviewers did. So min, max and average. And then we're going to look at countries and their ratings. I like that. So let's have a look at it. So first of all, let's do this. So we've got the taster, no taster, and then I'm going to take we don't need the wine title. What we're going to do is we're going to return the taster name, so t.name. We're going to do min p.value as cheapest. Oh. Max p.value as... I think we may have to collect these. Yeah, we're going to probably need to collect these, so give me a second. Min max. Let's do with T collect. I think this is going to work. If it doesn't work, it's fine. So taster name, we're going to do min prices as cheapest. Max prices as... Oh, no, there isn't one word for most expensive. Expensivest. I'm going to invent words. And let's do... I think it's just we need to look this up in... We'll look this up in the documentation in a second. Can we do average? Let's have a quick peek in the documentation. So, AVG, cipher, average. Let's have a look. Oh, it is AVG. Okay, cool. That was easy. And an av prices as average. Mean average. Alright, let's see what happens. We broke stuff. Expected float integer. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that is not unreasonable. So anything that I'm worried about... Oh, no, actually, no, I think this is okay. I think we can just do this, can't we? I think this is going to be fine. I don't think it's going to repeat the name over and over again. Look at that. Right. Okay, look, that's a bit of fun. So Roger, do you remember Roger, who's tasted so many wines? So the interesting thing here is we've got so they'll have a go at doing expensive wines. So I'm going to sort this by my invented word. Okay, so Christina, I can't remember how many wines she's tasted, although I don't think it's going to be that many if the average is 25 and the cheapest and most expensive was that, because that to me kind of sounds like maybe 2 wines. I don't know, we can check this out later or thereabouts. So what's interesting here is, okay, fine, so we've got these ranges here and we look at the average and you can kind of see, well, these are obviously one-offs and they're kind of hovering around there. So what we could do is maybe we could have a look at the standard deviation so we can see what the spread is. I mean, obviously, if we're looking at something right at the bottom here, like Roger, prolific taster Roger, so of course he'll have tasted the most expensive wine, given that he's sampled, was it 24,000 wines? Like crazy number of wines. So we can see that, but as you can see here, if we look at all of the average prices across the drinkers, they're all roughly sitting there between sort of like, you can see it between 20 and 42, 46, so between $20 and $50. So you can see like the vast majority of wines are down there at that lower stage. But yeah, some of them have tried some expensive stuff too, and yeah, look, Roger's tried the really expensive stuff. Okay, so that's fun. So let's have a go at Cassim's question. So quick reminder, Cassim has suggested that we have a look at how the ratings have compared to country. So let's bring up the data model, see have we got country data. If we don't, we need to bring it in. I think we did bring it in, so it should be okay. So let's do call db.schema and let's have a look. There we go. Right, so we have got, oh wow, okay, we've got a bit of a long-winded route to get to country, but that's okay. So we've got a winery, wines from a winery, from a province to a province country. So just something to bear in mind here. It's not a problem. I'm not going to bother refactoring the model, but if you bear in mind that a country is going to have a number of provinces and each province is going to have a number of wineries, we could end up with a lot of explosion of relationships, whereas if you think about it, the number of countries you're going to have are quite few. In fact, what we can do, we can have a look at the number of countries that we got. So match C country, return, count C. We have got a grand total of 44 countries in our thing that have got wines. So you're just going to have this crazy explosion where we're trying to figure out what wine a country came from. It's going to be quite high. But that's okay. So let's figure out how we're going to do this. And, I'm just trying to think, is there something we can do? Can we do something fun here? Or we just leave it with this? So let's think about how would we measure a successful country. So let's have a little think around that. What we could do actually is if we take the average score of the wine. So this is a blunt instrument, and we can have a play with how we can do this better. But what we could do is if we get wines by country and their points, and then we can do an average of the points awarded, and then we can find out what the average points are per country, and then we can rank it from high to low. So I think that's one way we can answer it. So let's have a go at that. I'm going to clear this out of the way. So we are probably going to do something like match P points. Oh no, points, not price. I say has points. Wine. So we're just using the graph structure, so you've got to sort of navigate through to the other side. So that's what we're going to do here. So it's going to be from winery, from province. So I got winery. Winery. I'm not really worried about. No, not going to do anything with winery. Maybe later, but not right now. So from winery, and winery is from province. Province, and then the province is province country. So, and we do want country, so we shall do C country. Okay, so what's going on here? We're doing that mapping, and remember we do have a no country node in there, so I'm going to do a where C dot, I think we said name. If not, we'll have a quick look at country in a second. So where C dot name is not equal, not equal to no country. Okay, so that's that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do return C dot name, give us our country name, and we're going to do min. Let's do the same idea: min, max, and average. So min p dot value as min max p dot value as max, and then let's do value as average. Order by average descending. So we'll do the highest one. So I'm just going to quickly check that it is country name. It is named, perfect. Right, so let's run this query. Let's find out which country did the best based on our data set. And the scores are in. Oh, I'm going to get all teary-eyed. Apparently England had the best average. I tell you what, English sparkling wine is really, really good. I'm sorry, France. We do some really good sparkling white wine. Oh yeah, really good stuff. So there we go. So hopefully, Kasim, I've answered your question there. We've gone away and we've figured out which wines were performing, performing well here. So let's have a look. We've got, brilliant! Look at that. That's exciting. So didn't get the max. So which country? I think it was France and the US knocks out a few. Oh look at this! Look at this! There you go. Look. Oh look, Brazil's on there as well. Nice. We'll have to have a look at some of the Brazilian wines. I'm curious. Oh look, Macedonia, Vranats. They do some nice wine. Moldova. So I'm sorry, I'm really sidetracking here now. I do apologise, but it's so much fun. Oh yeah, do. There's some really good. So Ridgeview sparkling white wine is really good. So Ridgeview is like tiny vineyard, but they do some nice white wine. And apparently, I'm really going off on a tangent here, and I apologise. This is not graph, but you know. So apparently 2020 is going to be a really good year for English wine, because apparently we've had a really hot, really long hot summer, and we've had hot nights as well. So apparently the grapes are like really sweet, full of sugar. So they're expecting it to be a really good year. So there you go, English wine 2020. Check it out. Apparently it's a good year. So I'm going off on a massive tangent as well. So Moldova apparently. I think it was Moldova. I accidentally watched this TV series a few years ago. Apparently, they've got these massive underground wine storage units where they sort of run for like kilometres and kilometres, and like they've got huge amounts of sort of wine production. So that's on my list of places to go visit and check out these massive underground wine storage areas. So that's quite fun. But yeah, so Bulgaria do some really nice reds as well. This is really exciting. So there you go. Obviously, take this with a pinch of salt. So, of course, we've got a limited wine data set, and it's going to be skewed in ways. And the thing as well that we don't have here is we're not looking at standard deviation. So we don't know how big the variance is between them, because obviously we've got a number of wines. So maybe we should do that. Let's have a look at the scores we're doing, because we say here that England's at the top, but maybe there's only like 4 wines in there, so it's not particularly representative. So let's do that. Let's just quickly update this query and let's put in the score. So let's put in count. Can we do it like this? No, we can't, can we? Oh, yes, we can. What we can do is we can do count wine. So we're counting the number of wines from that country. So count the number of wines, and then we're doing. This might work, this might not work. Let's see what happens. I have a feeling. Let's see what happens. Worst case scenario. We just have to think about how we rewrite this. Okay, look, there we go. Okay, look, right, there we go. See, I just spotted that India came second. I'll have to. We'll have to. Look, you know what? It's gonna be all these regions of countries of wines we have to go try out. So there you go. So it's not really fair because look, if we look here. You've got England, and yes, England came out top, but there's only 63 wines reviewed, whereas look here, Austria, 7,000 wines, and that's the value. So this is where we kind of care about having a look at the variance and things. But you know, this is all this is statistics, good fun stuff that comes with statistics. So you've got like France, 26,000 wines, and you've got the US as well. An interesting thing as well, I guess. With some of these, so I suspect the vast majority of the wine's coming from California, so you know what, you treat it the same thing, but I don't know, do we treat the US and go, well, East Coast, West Coast, you know, that if you look at Europe, that's several countries in between, do we treat them separately? But that is not the purpose of this exercise, but you can see here, so we can see this big range, so look at this, 21,000 coming from Italy. Armenia, wow. Okay, so you get the idea of what's going on. So Armenia is literally, that's the range. So, you know, it's not a surprise. So we can't judge too harshly on some of these. But yeah, okay, it sounds fun. So, do we have any other requests? Is there anything else we want to have a look at? Price related? I mean, we can do by vineyards, because I think some of the vineyards are quite... Some of the vineyards have got quite a few. Some of the wineries produce a lot of wine, so we can have a look at wineries that produce a fair few wines and then see what the averages are. So that might be a bit of fun. Let's have a look at that, and then I think we will call it a day. So unless you've got some questions, so do chuck the questions in the chat if you've got any questions, anything you want to look up. But let's have a look at wineries where wines from many wineries, so we don't need to worry about the country bit, we can get rid of that. Let's have a no winery, because we do have some of these that are no winery. Let's just call this win. Okay, so order by let's have a look. And we want the winery name, don't we? So let's do win.name. Alright, let's see what happens here. Let's see. See what happens. That's disappointing. You know what I did? I forgot to do descending, didn't I? Right, let's try again. Oh. That's disappointing. I thought we... Oh no. It's all good. We're there. So... Okay. So we got a fair bit of range, and again, I really like. Can we do how do we do standard deviation? Let's Google it. Can we do Neo4j cipher standard? Can I be really lazy and just have it? Oh, we have a standard deviation. Oh, excellent. Oh, let's do that then. Let's find out the standard deviation. Oh dear, hang on. Right, I'm intrigued to see what comes back now. Are we not running? Oh, there we go. Aha. So, that's not too crazy. Okay, so it's not they're not the averages aren't too skewed, I guess. There you go. Wines and winemakers. We didn't sort it. So what we've done is we've sorted it by the number, and the only reason why we've done this is because we do have a bunch of wine. Like we want wines that come from several wineries. So let's do that. Let's pick all of the wineries that have got over they've got over 50 wines. This is what I propose. Last query of the session, unless somebody suggests something else. We are going to find all the wineries that have at least 50 wines, and then we are going to find the winery with the highest average, and we're just going to look at the distribution, the standard distribution, just to see. Obviously, the smaller the number for standard distribution, the closer, the less spread out the values are, if that makes sense. So it means that the smaller the value for the standard deviation, the more it means that the scores are clumped around the average, if that makes sense. So if the standard deviation is a big number, then it's like, the scores were spread out all over the place, and that just happened to be average. Whereas the smaller the value goes, you kind of think of it as you have this thing that now we're going off onto a wild tangent, but you've got this idea of timesing your timesing your standard deviation by either 3.5 or 2.5, and I think it's, if I recall correctly, it's been a while. So it's when I say been a while, it's been a while. It's something around how do you capture between 95 and 98% of the distribution of your thing. So basically, the smaller that standard deviation is, the more the more clumped together your data points are around your average. So small is good in this example. The smaller it is, the more confident we are the average is where all the things fit around there. I digress. So let's do that. So let's do wineries that have produced 50 or more wines. So I'm going to do this as a 2-part query. So so I don't need to do points. This is going to be, we leave it in there. I can copy and paste it and recycle and reuse and whatever else. So with win collect W as wines where size wines is greater than or equal to 50. Then we're going to do match. There we go. Do it like this. Okay, so that should be what we want. So size of wines is greater than that. Oh, we're going to need to rematch. That's fine. So we can do unwind wines as W. There we go. Right, now we match back the thing. Okay, so this should all work, hopefully. Ooh, we done? There we go. Right. And, oh yes, let's sort this by the average descending. Ooh. Hey, okay, there we go. So, the interesting one here, so we've got here average of 94 with 2.2 standard deviation. And so roughly there isn't a huge, I mean, okay, this one's a bit big, but that's not, yeah, they're roughly much, you know, I'm not going to lose sleep over these. So that's interesting. So, okay, so there you go. So check out the Cayuse Winery for your spec value. So I think we could probably, well, we'll leave prices later, but you kind of get the idea. So they're doing quite well rating wise. So let's order by standard deviation just for a bit of fun. And we're going to order this by ascending. So which winery has the most accurate rating? Actually, I can just do order by because it's ascending by default. That's the last query, and then we will call it a day. And I hope you've all had some fun. The results are in. The most true to rating is the Waterbrook Winery. I'm sure they have a selection of 80 wines that have been reviewed. Check them out. So there you go. Okay, that was great fun. I enjoyed myself there. I hope you all had fun. Again, if you're watching this stream and you've got some questions or you're watching a recording, again, either come join me, bring your questions next session, or post them on GitHub as an issue. So you've got the link to the session here in the description. Link to the repository in the description. Otherwise, actually, let's swing back. So you've got the link there. Thank you for joining me, and see you soon.